Hello and welcome to round 35 of the Fragmasters GTI Thursday series in Live for Speed without a GTI. It is going to be the Toyota JT86 tonight at Aston Club. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching sim broadcasts on YouTube and Twitch, and joining me in the commentary box as ever, it's Dave Fraser, aka FM Fraz. Fraz, how's it going on?
All good here, guys. Yeah, this should be an exciting race, and not a big grid, but yeah, pretty exciting little car here. Should be fun.
Should indeed. Let's talk more about the car and the reason why we are running a race here without the GTI class for once. Well, every 10th race in this year's championship, they've been using mods, and it just so happens that this is the first one of those we have coincided with in our championship calendar. And tonight it's with the Toyota JT86, based on the Toyota GT86 by Husem 221B. Which has a 2-litre flat 4 rear-wheel drive, but it's definitely a GT configuration, this one, Fraz.
Yeah, I think so, eh?
Yeah, but yeah, as I said, this is going to be a mod race, which will lead us towards the end of the season. The next round that we'll be covering on September the 11th will be the 8th anniversary special of the championship, which should be a return to normality with the GTIs in full force. We hope so, but we do wonder what the format for that landmark occasion will be. Fraz, any ideas yet?
No, I don't think we've tossed around any ideas yet. What we might come up with the 8th anniversary, but I'm sure Magic will have something great.
I'm sure it will be good as ever. Yeah, let's talk about the track very quickly. 3.1 kilometers, 1.9 mile Aston Club reversed configuration tonight with 20 lap races and that top 15 reversed grid with, of course, the mandatory pit stop making its way into play as well in the races. So we've had qualifying. We should quickly get through those results as well before the start of race number 1. And it was, of course, Joe Holmes who put it on pole position with a 1:15.49 ahead of TJ, Twin Cam, Sufor, Nalaluka, Grzanka, Ayub, Real Wow Star, Shane Van Gisberger, which is Nico, and Magic there in P10. So yeah, a smallish grid tonight, given the lack of GTI cars, I imagine. But still, it's going to be an interesting race with a car that the drivers are less familiar with. But the usual names at the top for us.
Right. All the familiar guys are at the top. We got Joe Holmes, TJ here. Nalioka looked really fast in pre-qualifying. It's down in fifth, so keep an eye on him, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Keep an eye on all those top drivers, and we might get a few surprises from the back as well. Who knows? Rayman there, potentially Neuroticat as well, maybe climbing up the order. But everybody, of course, has a chance. You've got to be in it to win it, as they say. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship standing very quickly, shall we? Joe Holmes stretching his lead, almost 500 points clear of Nalaluka. Those are the two guys to watch out for at the front, with Sufor there in P3, but TJ, P4, trying to get into the 1,000 point territory to try and get a top 3 in the championship still at this stage. The Drivers' Championship standing looks a little bit different. We have... who do we got in this one? We've got, I think we have the winners team. My apologies. Yes, at the top, ahead of Born to Race, Sim Racing Polska, Road Appraiser, Race Green, Sidus, World Class Lines, Master Race Car, TAV, and Air Attack, the top 10. And yeah, as we say, week in, week out, a good number of teams attending with a lot of drivers in some cases. Fraz.
Yeah, it's always a well-attended race. We don't. Maybe mods are keeping people away today a bit. S3, lots of factors make people not show up today.
Yeah, well, let's hope for 2 good races. The race is about to get going. So, Fraz, take it away for the start of race number 1.
We're going to line up with Joe Holmes on pole. Joe in the white car, TJ in the light green car. There's the lights. And we're off. And looks like Magic deciding to force 3 wide back there. It looks like Joe's going to lead him into T1. And lead him out. Oh, we've got contact. Somebody off.
Yeah, Nalaluka off, which is a big one, obviously, with his position in the championship. He's off at turn 1, and he is right at the very back. So that's going to be a long journey, as we've got Joe Holmes and TJ side by side at the very front. And it's TJ who takes the lead in the bright green machine there, ahead of the white car of Joe Holmes, as they run down to the latter part of the lap. It's a very, very short lap, this, Fraz, and only 20 laps. But 2 long straights and some spicy hairpins to make some dive bombs into, and I'm sure Joe Holmes will be taking full use of that now as he lines up TJ.
Joe's want to glue onto TJ's rear bumper here, and he'll have that long draft back up to T1.
Yeah, but he's got to be careful. He's also got a very fast 2-4 right behind him, as we've got Grzanka and who's that? Magic side by side. Yeah,
Magic making his move early.
Someone's going into the pits. Yeah, Grzanka in the pits for the Sim Racing Polska team. And Twincam is making a move on Sufor. Didn't see that coming, but Twincam up to P3. Well,
TJ's going to lead him out of here in T1 here. Joe Holmes in second here. Look at...
Rocket goes wide, and that's going to be an easy overtake in the end for, in fact, yeah, a few people. Lewis, Brian getting through there as well. Lewis wide too. But look at that, TJ is pulling a gap here for us over Joe Holmes, and Joe is under threat from Twincam. Fast starting Twincam here.
Yeah, hopefully TJ can keep this up and hold Joe at bay. And yeah, nice running by Twincam so far. Oh, that's Ride back there.
Yeah, Rid and Nico sharing or swapping positions. Nico is about to have a run on Rid, I think, over start finish, although didn't get the best exit. We're watching Rayman here in the bright blue, trying to get past Magic over start finish. There's 2 more cars behind them peel into the pit lane. Rid is one of them as well. But there we go on camera. Rayman getting past Magic into turn one. As we've got 3 cars in the pits. Abe in the pits. Real Wildstar in the pits. And Rid as Magic does the switchback.
Battles right back. And we're going door-to-door racing here.
Yeah, great stuff. It is possible in the slower cars to go 2 cars wide through there. Absolutely safe. And it does lend for some great racing and great shots as they're still side by side. Magic on the favourable inside line for the chicane. But Rayman's trying to hold it around the outside. And that's a brilliant move to keep that position. And up to P5, securing P5 there for the Born to Race driver. Rayman in that case. As it looks like Twin Cam has dropped off slightly from the back of Joe Holmes, and that could be because Sufor is now looking to try and get back past. He lost 3rd place early on. Twin Cam took it, but now in the slipstream is Sufor.
Yep, Sufor coming hard here. They should have him easily now.
There we go. Just as you said it, straight through. As Magic hits the pit lane. So drivers electing, well, the drivers in the mid and rear of the field electing to make early-ish pit stops in this race. In fact, Magic was serving a drive-through penalty. So that's something we didn't pick up on. Yeah, so he must have had a jump start or something like that, because you don't get a drive-through without going through the pit lane or making a jump start. As TJ, with the fastest lap, now has almost a 1 second lead over Joe Holmes.
Now you got to wonder, is Joe's nursing his tires or waiting for, he'll be wondering, keeping an eye on TJ's tires, because I know Joe does that.
Yeah, Joe is playing 4D chess while the rest of us are playing checkers, as we're watching now Ayub, who's closing up on Grazank, who's gone off ahead of him. Ooh, Ayub having to twitch the car to try and deal with that. Tries to go to the inside, can't because there's a car in the way. And that's just allowing Real Wildstar to catch back up. Remember, these guys have already come into the pits. This is sort of the battle for the drivers who have already made pit stops in this race. But it's getting spicy.
Yeah, it looks like Grazanka really struggling with his rear grip right now.
Yeah, it does look to be quite a difficult car to contain.
On board with Real Wildstar. He's in the draft right now too, but he's running out of time to use it.
Yeah, the straights here are so long, but the corners do end up creeping up on you faster than you sometimes want, and that wasn't the best exit for Real Wildstar, so he's not going to have the full he's not going to be able to fully utilize this straight down to the chicane. He'll have to focus on the end of his lap and try again on the next one, as Grazanka's tires are a bit warmer than everyone else's at the moment, so that could explain why he's having some trouble containing the rear. And again, look, you can see the slip angle of the rear of his car is higher than those around him.
Yeah, he's just struggling for grip in the rear right now. Yeah, Wildstar all over his rear of his car again.
Yeah, as we look at the timing tower, and it does appear that TJ is now officially over a second ahead of Joe. As we keep our eyes on this 2-car battle on the screen, Grazanka is defending from Real Wildstar. Real Wildstar will be on the outside initially for the hairpin, but they make contact. Yeah, there's nowhere for him to go. Can't cut back across. And he's got his 2 teammates, Rid and Neuroticat, just behind as well, closing in. And they appear to have swapped positions as well. Rid has made a move up to P14 on his teammate. Yeah, the story at the front appears to be that Sufor is the man with the overall pace at the moment, with the fastest lap, but doesn't have the consistency to close up to Joe and TJ. 2.2 seconds. We'll get an update at the start-finish line to see if that pace changes. Doesn't appear to have. It looks like Sufor still has still has the fastest lap, but his average lap is slower, obviously, than the cars around him.
Because we're watching Grzanka get eaten up by some winners' cars.
Yeah, Real Wellstar's in trouble here as well. Grzanka has the tow. Rid also has the tow, of course, and we might end up with a 3 wide situation here. It's running out of time. Yeah, they're going to go 3 wide. Well, the big loser out of that one will be Real Wellstar if this pans out how I think it's going to. But he's managed to keep the inside. Grzanka on the outside now.
Yep, Ride wondering which car to go behind right now.
Yeah, he can't make his mind up at this stage. As Real Wellstar goes on the grass and gives up time to Grzanka, and he's going to hold his teammate up here. It's single file through this chicane. Grzanka will be free and clear, and Rid, yeah, you see, he has to compromise his braking into the chicane because he's got his teammate ahead of him. But he spotted an opportunity on the outside at the final corner.
Just a great final turn here. Nice and wide. You can easily 2 lines.
Yeah, we're back to where we
They're
started.
all going to come out in the draft now.
Yeah, Grzanka now leading the train, pulling the winners' cars down the home straight. And now Rid knows who he's going to back. He's going to go in behind his teammate. But has he got a chance to jump to the front of this line? Oh, it's 3 wide again into the first corner. Rid might have it this time, but he's on the outside for the hairpin. Or he goes late on the brakes. He's already ahead. Can he get the car slowed down? Yes, he can. That's a fantastic move by Rid from making up the place on 2 cars who are still side by side behind him now. Great move.
It's like Real Wellstar's car doesn't have the top speed right now. He's in the draft. He pulls out and he can't get the pass done. Let's see if he can get it done now.
Yeah, just about. He has the overlap and can pull in front. And Grzanka overall loses a place, so too does Real Wellstar. Oh, but Rid's gone wide, and he's given up all that great, those great moves. Have just gone in the bin thanks to that. And we're all back into this dance once again. Grzanka very much the odd one out in this group of 4. And that's Nanaluka coming back through. Sorry, Neuroticat. Nanaluka's slightly further back. But it does look like Real Wellstar has managed to break away again. So yeah, these guys pretty evenly matched.
Going 2-door now.
Yeah, good fun battle. That's going to rage on, I think.
So Joe's got it under a second, I see.
Yeah,
so
down
Joe
to 0.8.
is closing the gap.
Slowly turning the screw as we approach the halfway stage in race 1. We've still got the cameras trained on this 4-car group. They are the closest cars on the track, pretty much. Oh, Grzanka getting it all out of shape into the chicane. That's going to give Neuroticat a glimmer of an opportunity to get back up with his teammates.
Looks like Neuroticat's getting a run on him.
Yeah, Grzanka gives up the inside line. Again, goes sideways slightly. Somehow had a better exit. So that outside line just favouring him slightly there. As Neuroticat has the slipstream. As we've got Brian and Omar in the pits, but Brian has picked up a drive-through penalty and didn't hit his box. So he's going to have to come through again. As Grzanka somehow holds on. And Neuroticat couldn't get the job done. Speaking of, Sufor is within 2 seconds of TJ. Joe Holmes is almost within striking distance now of TJ, but goes wide out of the final corner. Better exit there for TJ. So the story is definitely not over at the very front, even though we've been watching action elsewhere.
Joe Holmes in.
Yeah, he's decided now is the time. As Rocket has now been consumed by the pack of winners' cars, he's being chased. In fact, I think he's slightly held up Real Wowstar there because Rid is right behind him now as well. Real Wowstar goes to the front. Rid is going to try and follow him
Ride
through.
all over Rocket's car.
Yeah, and he's passed too. As Brian comes back into pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty.
And he missed his pit box.
Yeah.
So that means he's got to pit one more time to stop? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, he just blew his pit box.
Yeah, he has a pit stop registered on our timing tower. So he has fulfilled his mandatory stop for the race. As TJ is also in, and this is clearly to cover off Joe Holmes, as Sufor will take over the lead of the race. And we'll see how TJ and Joe fare. If they come out and start battling each other, that will be a great time to be Sufor right about now.
Right. If these guys, let's see where.
Oh, it's going to be close. Joe. Oh my goodness me! How on earth has Joe managed to get such an advantage? They come out side by side, and Joe's going to have a nose ahead. In fact, this is going to be perfect for Sufor. TJ has lost a lot of time in his pit stop, and Joe Holmes has managed to make the undercut work, or rather, I guess, the overcut. That's brilliant stuff. And now they're going to battle. This is dream scenario for Sufor, who's got clear air out ahead. His two rivals are now fighting side by side. And here we go. TJ making the move, and there's contact.
Oh, we got contact.
Oh, lovely stuff. This is going to be a three-way battle for the win in race one.
Yeah, I have a feeling TJ with that little contact. Yeah, Joe's going to have his elbows up now.
Well, that's an impressive in and out lap for Joe Holmes. TJ didn't really look like he made any sort of mistake into the pit lane, so Joe's just done something special to manage to get him in the pit stop phase, and you can see why TJ would be throwing moves like that. He'll be frustrated, and he'll know that he has limited chances to get that place back. The pit stop is done. That part of the race is over. It's now a straight fight to the finish.
Oh yeah, you don't get many chances to be in front of Joe Holmes, and like you say, I don't know how Joe closes a 7/10.
Yeah, more than he was alongside, so just over 7/10 of a second he gained. As we've got Umar and Rocket here fighting into turn number one, and the gap between TJ and Joe is opening. Joe has got the legs at this stage of the race.
Yeah, Joe is just sitting back there, biding his time, watching TJ, probably burn off his tires a bit.
Yeah, still close, but I don't know if TJ's going to get a slipstream. It's a good exit from Joe. And, well, we'll watch from the rear view camera on Joe Holmes's Toyota JT86 to see if there is any sort of slipstream, and there isn't. You've got to be much closer than that to affect any sort of slipstream pass. Just not close enough. And this all plays into Sufor's hands. I really do wonder what this is going to look like at the end of the race. If Sufor can keep putting in consistent lap times, we're going to have a grandstand finish.
Right. Yeah, Sufor is out there still going as fast as he was earlier. This could be really, really good.
Well, Sufor's just done a 33.38 sector time. Let's see what Joe and TJ can manage. Yeah, Joe with a 33.26. Joe is faster on this lap than Sufor. So, and TJ marginally slower, 1/100th of a second slower at the sector line than Sufor. So, Joe is doing just about all he needs to do at this point.
Well, TJ's coming out. Maybe he's on his rear bumper right now. He might be close enough. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell, but I think Joe is
from
ever
this
so
angle,
slight.
no way.
Yeah, that's a distant toe, but Joe's going to be getting away from him. The acceleration is such that the gap will still be opening, which is a slowly diminishing amount as we've got a car leaving the pit lane. That's Hermani, and well, TJ's very, very good on the brakes. A little bit of a kick of oversteer for Joe, but well held, and again neutralizes any chance of an attack for TJ. Though I think, oh no, it's hard to say. They're so even Stevens. It's absolutely ridiculous watching these two. Yeah, 1/100th of a second different in that time last lap. 3/100ths of a second different at that sector line, and the advantage was to Joe Holmes. So, yeah, nothing between these guys really at all.
No, but the thing is, Joe keeps winning the sector.
Sufor's
Doesn't
pitting.
matter by how much he keeps
Sufor's
winning
pitting.
it.
He's going in. Let's see what happens. He's left it quite well. He's actually coming earlier than I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to keep track position, but he's in the pit lane. And let's see if he can affect the top of this race. It's a nervy entry into the pit lane. It wasn't the smoothest of stops. And Joe and TJ are up to full chat as they come past. Sufor is crossing the pit exit line now and is getting up to speed. But I think these two are just going to train straight past. Yes, they are. Joe into the lead. TJ second, and Sufor, fair play to him, still very, very close in third. But it's Rayman who has the lead of the race at the moment, but of course will shuffle down when he pits.
Yep, Sufor just, he needed Joe and TJ to race a little bit more against each other, and just didn't happen.
Yeah, as Rocket makes his pit stop down there in P15. Just Rayman left to pit, and that is the car that is just ahead of Joe and TJ. Expect Rayman in this lap. He'll want to get out of the way of the leaders as comfortably as he can.
Doesn't look like Sufor is can make a move. Is making up any ground, I guess, on TJ. We're just.
Well, if you look at the times, the gap between Sufor and Joe is a lot smaller than it was actually when Joe and TJ pitted. So Sufor has made a net gain, only marginal, not enough to make an effect after his pit stop. But there you go. You've got all three of the race leaders on camera at the same time. And actually, Sufor was very, very close to TJ there. Very contrasting lines through turn one. But we're just waiting now for Rayman to pit. There's a potential here. Very, very, very small potential that Rayman could affect this battle, because there is only really one way to go through this chicane that's coming up, and that is single file. But I have a feeling there's going to be no issue at all. Rayman will be able to let our leaders through very soon. If I was Rayman, I would pit right now and get out of the way and save myself the stress of having to let the three race leaders battle their way through. That's going to come sooner rather than later. Rayman indicates. Rayman pits, and that unleashes Joe Holmes to take his first lead lap of the race on lap 17, with a half a second gap to TJ, and there you can see less than 1.5 seconds between Sufor and Joe. Undoubtedly, he's made gains, but it just hasn't been enough. 3 laps to go in race 1.
Yeah, I don't know how TJ can close this gap. Like, we know he can he was on the brakes hard earlier, and he looked like he closed the gap a bit with brakes. But Joe Holmes is so good with his brakes.
Yeah, I would put this down to the collective experience in this car being an order of magnitude, maybe several orders of magnitude less than the experience the drivers have in the GTIs. Of course, this is a mod. Many of the drivers, this would have been the first evening they've ever driven it. Whereas Joe and TJ have thousands of hours driving GTI cars. And that is the balancer. Having these mod rounds really does throw a sort of curveball into the championship. And, I quite like the shake-up. But ultimately, the shake-up has shaken, and Joe has shaken himself to the lead again. But TJ, undeniably closer than he has been in certain numbers of the previous rounds. And I think, on balance, if he manages to keep P2, he'll be pretty happy with that, considering his run of results recently.
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed. He had the lead for so long, and he gave it up in the pits. But we got another race coming right up.
We do. It is not over for tonight, as Neuroticat is trying his best to get past Grzanka. This battle between Grzanka and all the winners' cars has been raging on all race long. And I don't think there's been a single lap where Grzanka has been able to take the normal line through that chicane. He's always had a winner's car next to him, behind him, in front of him, somewhere around him. And Neuroticat was thinking about going for a move into this chicane, and that's a big no-no. You've got to really have a cooperative opponent if you're going to do that.
You have to have full confidence that your opponent's not going to go on the grass and come back.
Yeah, you've got to have faith they know what they're doing and they know how to handle their machine. As we're on the final lap, Joe has entered lap 20 and Sufor has dropped off. Neuroticat has the draft finally.
We've seen this before, though, and it doesn't look like the winner's car has the top speed. He had the draft, but he can't get by him.
Yeah, possibly slightly differing setups. You mentioned that before, and it does appear that that's the case. Grzanka's gearing is just better for the straight, and he's able to defend a big slipstream attack as the final corner approaches. Fraz, take Joe to the line.
Oh, look at that, TJ trying to get there.
Bit desperate.
Oh, but Joe's going to lead him out. And the gap's too big. Just, a great race run by both cars. This has been thoroughly entertaining as Joe Holmes coming to the line now. And it'll be Joe Holmes with the win. TJ finishes second. Sufor will be third. We've got Twin Can fourth. It's Abe fifth, Nico in sixth, Rayman seventh, Real Wildstar eighth, Ride in ninth, Nally runs 10th, Grzanka holds on to 11th, Neuroticat in 12th, Magic 13th, Omar in 14th. And there's Brian. And we should still have Rocket and I believe Hermione to come.
Hermione's been over the line, so it'll be Rocket, the final car. And I think Sonoris Lewis is out on track, but won't be registered as one of our finishers. And that concludes race 1. Lots of action. There are plenty of opportunities in race 2 for drivers to switch up their strategy. And we'll have to wait and see what becomes of the grid. I believe it's a top 15 reverse for this one, Praz.
Yeah, it's looking like Brian would be on pole for the second race, and Omar would start second.
Yeah, and the rest of our drivers will stack up behind, and Joe Holmes will start in P15, Rocket P16, Hermione, Lewis, and Skyefe, as it stands, would start in P19. But yeah, Joe Holmes did end up getting the fastest lap in the end on the final lap to take that accolade away from Sufor. close in the end, only 0.04 of a second off of Joe Holmes' best time for Sufort. But yes, the results confirmed on screen. Joe Holmes in 25 minutes wins race 1 of round 35 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday in 2025 in not a GTI car, it's the Toyota JT86. We had TJ and Sufort twin cam best of the rest in the end. Quite anonymous in that race. We saw him early on, but didn't really talk about him as the race went on. Ayub, Nico, Rayman, Real Wildstar, Rid, and Naliluka your top 10, with Guzanka, Nautica, Magic, Omar, Brian, Rocket, and Hermani your finishers, with DNFs for Lewis and Sky Affair. There are just under 5 minutes to go until the start of race number 2, and we're going to do it all again with that reverse top 15. The drivers will still have to make a mandatory pit stop, and it will be the full complement of 20 laps that we'll be bringing you. The drivers have had a race to warm up, Fraz, so in theory it should be less chaotic, but that's never the case, is it?
No, we don't want it to be less chaotic. No, this will be action-packed.
Action-packed is the way we like it. The feature race is coming up in just a few moments' time. Do not go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to round 35 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday in Live for Speed tonight with the Toyota JT86, not a GTI car, for this mod round of the championship. We're watching some broadcasts. We've been for a quick break and we're back, Fraz, for race 2.
Yeah, race 2, generally hard to believe, but even more action than the first race, as we're going to have reverse grid, top 15.
Yeah, and we're not going to have to wait
We got
long.
Brian on pole for the second race, I believe, and does it say Omar completing the front row?
Well, confirmation on the screen of the running order for race 2. Brian, Magic, and Omar. Take it away for the lights, Fraz.
It's looking good. Here we go.
Everybody cleanly away. And look at that, the amount
And
of winners
Brian with a
cars.
really good start, it looks. But yeah, you can see we're 3 wide down the front straight. And it's a big start for Brian.
Yeah, it is. As our front runners from the last race are all packed in there. In the white, you can see it's Joe. Just look how far back through the grid they are. And they're side by side. TJ is being passed already. As we've got Rid side by
TJ
side with
cannot
Magic.
give up that position.
No, and he hasn't. You can just see in the background he's holding on to it. And Magic there, still defending against Rid. Rid now on the outside, coming down to the final corner.
And Grzanka right in there again.
Yeah, Magic with a little bit elbows out there. And TJ's had contact with Real Wildstart, and that's Joe now sort of behind him. Who have we got in there? Sufor as well now between 3 wide. Joe Holmes to the pits on lap 1. Well, isn't that interesting?
And a lot of cars in the pits.
Yeah, Grzanka, Joe, Rayman, Ayub, and Twin Cam, all the Born to Race drivers. Sorry, the Twin Cam stayed out. It was Rocket that came in. As Brian is leading the way here.
That's Naliuka now in his rearview mirror. We've got Omar running third, Ride in fourth, Magic right on his rear bumper.
Yeah, he's going to go for the move here into the chicane. Oh, he thought twice about it, but Rid's opened up the gap. No, he's gone deep in the corner, and that is Nico.
And that allows Nico to get a run on Magic.
Well, Joe is in clean air. He's got Grzanka just ahead of him, but there's still air between himself and that car, 1.5 seconds almost. And while everyone else is squabbling, Joe might have played the best trick in the book by getting that car down pit lane immediately. TJ cannot afford to be held up here, and he's going side by side with Neuroticat, who dives out of the way with Magic into the pit lane.
He might have got a little draft off Neuroticat. I mean, don't forget, these other cars can help you with the draft. But you got to get by him quickly.
Yeah, well, TJ's pot committed. He's on to lap 3 now with a whole load of cars around him, knowing full well that Joe has got clean air somewhere else out on the track. 2-4 is quite content with looking at his competitor. He needs to keep TJ just where he can see him.
Yeah, in front of, that would be Unite, just in front of TJ. So, yeah, Unite's going to be able to hold him off a bit, probably.
Nico looking good in this race, but he's got TJ right behind him. This could hurt TJ. TJ will be calculating in his mind whether he thinks it's worth it to pit, and there you go. That's the moment. That's the moment where you think, yeah, that was a little bit spooky.
No, he's got him. I would stay out. I'm going to take this draft, and I'm going to stay out.
Let's see what he does. Maybe Nico will force his hand. Look, Nico's going into the pits, isn't he? And he lets TJ go. TJ commits again.
Yeah, just in front of him, Omar and Ride battling it out.
Yeah, it's currently a winner's top 3, but Omar is looking to spoil the party, and TJ is already on the scenes on the break. Look at that. That's absolutely unbelievable. TJ, fastest lap on that lap. Joe Holmes not quicker, even though he had completely clean air. And this is where TJ has to get through.
Back in the draft of Omar now.
Yeah, but he can afford absolutely zero hold up. He's got to be through and past. Omar needs to let this happen, or else TJ is going to be in trouble. And TJ is through. Well, this is going quite well for him so far, but let's see how he gets on with the 3 cars ahead of him. Rid first.
Guys, TJ's been really nice in this final turn, so yeah, he's going to come out right on Ride's rear bumper.
Yeah, but this is crucial. What is the gap like between Rid and Brian? Joe Holmes is now caught up to the back of Gazanka. We'll switch to that battle in a minute. TJ, crucially there, will be on the inside of the hairpin, regardless of what happens here. Always important to get the left-hand side down into turn one. Very, very few cars actually did that on the previous race, as TJ sets the best server lap of anybody, a 1:15.42.
Woohoo, woohoo.
He is flying. Joe Holmes is tucked in behind Grzanka now and hasn't managed to get through in the slipstream, so that's crucial.
Yeah, TJ's being able to use the other car's slipstreams quite to his advantage, obviously.
Oh, Joe, half a second down on TJ on that lap alone, and that's a big, big amount of time. And Joe, actually, we need to get the cameras on him. He is side by side with Grzanka. Crucial that he gets through right now. And he is.
So TJ in third, he's going to be coming up on Brian, it looks like, next.
Yep, our pole sitter. Look at that. That is absolutely mighty on the brakes. This car has a scary looking front end, especially when you're trying to defend your lead that you were given. P15 to pole down to P2 and now being chased by TJ is a pretty threatening place to be.
Yeah, and TJ, I think he's definitely in the draft. TJ peeling in.
Ooh, interesting decision. I'm not sure I'd have done that. He's going to come out in an unknown territory now, but let's see. Let's see how it goes. Maybe he wasn't confident that maybe he was using the slipstream just to get that gap, and now he wants to defend from Joe. TJ is away. Joe Holmes has a massive amount of clean air, but I reckon it's going to be close, you know. Joe Holmes is up to full speed. There he is. TJ's out. That. Oh, it's unbelievable. Carbon copy. Wow.
TJ's out there setting server best, and he still couldn't. Joe Holmes right on TJ's rear bumper again.
This is absolutely incredible stuff. I love seeing these two race. It's just brilliant. Joe's going to have to try every trick in the book again to get through TJ. It's the same exact story as last time. TJ led most of the race. Joe did the pit stop and got the place. But this time, after the pit stop, TJ has come out in the lead. But now Joe is going to have a monster of a slipstream, and TJ is going to have to defend the left-hand side of the track like his life depends on it.
Yeah, TJ, he knows what he's doing. I mean, you're a five-time champion here.
That is a statement of intent. I am driving down the left-hand side of this track, and there is nothing you can do. Ultimately, too far away, as Sufor there comes out of the pit lane with a bit of a gap, but we do have our top three from race one all together. And look how close Joe is out of there. The gap was huge onto the brakes, and it's down to absolutely nothing once again as we've got Nico side by side with Grzanka through the same corner.
Grzanka, he's just been door-to-door racing with everybody today.
Yeah, he's been having his fair share. Like I said, another shot on camera where he was side by side through that chicane. Seems he's not been through there on his own all night long. But now, this is where the story is. Can Joe get a good exit and get past TJ on the home straight? We know what TJ's going to do. He's going to drive down the left-hand side of the road. Bit of a kick of oversteer. That's not going to help him. TJ is definitely not as far ahead as he was on Joe the previous lap. And here comes the slipstream. TJ's got to defend the left. He cannot give the inside line to Joe, and he's given the inside line to Joe. I am shocked. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, you want to be right here where Joe Holmes is right now.
Unbelievable. Well, that's how not to do it, ladies and gents. That was far, far too easy. TJ could have quite easily pulled over to the left there and tried at least to defend that, but that is a shocker. Sufor is well placed now to try and do exactly the same thing that Joe did.
Yeah, Super closing in on TJ's rear.
Yeah, it's nice to hear the drivers modulating the throttle through that final corner. But TJ appears to have actually had a decent exit, and here we're going to get a carbon repeat of what we just saw before. Is Joe going to try and defend the left, or is he giving TJ? Everyone tries to defend the right hand side, the left hand. No, it's the right hand side, isn't it? I'm not sure why. I don't understand that. But there we go. TJ back ahead. So he's been given a second chance.
Yeah, it's not being on the inside here. It's being on the inside of this turn that matters.
Absolutely
And
nothing
look at
now
that.
separates the top three. At one point, they were each making contact with each other, and Sufor there has lost a ton of time just by tapping the back of Joe. Bit of a bump, and he's lost a load of time. So TJ defends the inside again, and we're back to where we were. Let's keep this clean, and let's have a good race to the end. 3 cars, all fighting it out for the overall win in race 2. Sufor's well placed here, Fraz.
Yeah,
these two touch each other
right where he needs to be. But he's got to be careful. He cannot lose Joe Holmes.
Oh, TJ with a big twitch. He's gone off the track. TJ's lost it.
No.
Oh, but Sufor did not react well enough to that. That was, you could see that was coming a mile off. And Sufor didn't react in time and has cost himself time chasing Joe. My. Well, if you've ever seen 2 own goals, that's what they look like.
Yeah, TJ's just, I don't know, they're probably struggling for grip right now, I guess. And of course, you got Joe Holmes on your rear bumper, you're feeling the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, TJ is suffering with his rear tyres. They are overheating, and, well, I don't really need to tell you that, do I? He's just lost 2 places in one corner. But it wasn't just a mistake. His car is letting him down, or rather his setup is letting him down. And now the only chance of a shake-up is Sufor, who had the outright pace in race 1, but just didn't have the consistency. Has experience in this car. He's driven it before. We've seen him drive it in RTFR not too long ago, actually. A number of other drivers on the grid have driven this car before.
Well, we do have 4 winners cars leading this race right now. So I'm not sure what Nally's doing out there for lap times, but
yeah, I mean, to be fair, Joe is 20 seconds off the lead. That is not a given that the winners guys are going to lose this by any stretch. I think that they could have a chance if they can put some good laps in. As we're watching here, Nico chasing Twin Cam, and yeah, let's see what the winners' cars are up to. Nalaluka has quite a lot of ground, and of course he is second in the championship. He's not slow by any means, and he has completely clear track, so he could be on for the win, to be honest. But we'll have to see when he comes in.
Yeah, he's got Ride running protection for him too. So, I mean, yeah, Ride's a great driver in his own right.
Yeah, an overstart finish. We've got a battle between
this
battle
is
for
Brian
P3.
and Real Wildstar.
Yeah, Real Wildstar moves up to P3, pushing our pole sitter down. But interesting, then Nalaluka is through the first chicane as Joe just manages to get through Lewis. This is a battle for position. Lewis has not pitted yet and manages to get back through. So actually, in all of this, with Joe and TJ fighting, I think Nalaluka's probably done enough to win the feature race as long as nothing happens to him.
Yeah, Lewis doing his job here, holding Joe off. Not for long, but He's still making it harder.
Well, 2 corners. Well, actually, probably technically 4 corners as Sufor manages to capitalise on that and is right back with Joe. Now, one good exit and Sufor could register a lead lap here. Let's see what happens. Now, that wasn't a good entry. He's run into the back of Joe there.
No, and you don't want to be off the pedal and Joe's on the pedal.
You don't want to be bumping into Joe. That's not going to go down well. He's going to make it even harder for you to race him.
So Sufor is in the draft.
He is. Joe defends the left-hand side. That's the first time that he's done that this race, as Sufor tries to go around the outside. And let's see, will it work? Well, he's got the overspeed and he's through. He hasn't done a lap, but he's in the lead.
Well, he's not in the lead. He's leading Joe Holmes.
He's leading Joe Holmes. He's in the lead of this. You're right. You need to keep me in check, Fraz. I'm getting excited, but yeah, you're right. The winners' cars definitely still in with the chance here. In fact, probably more than a chance. They're probably impossible to beat at this stage.
Yeah, this can't be playing out any better for Nally up front. Oh, Nico runs way wide.
He went side by side with the car through the chicane and it didn't work out. For anyone else, it would be fine. But for Nico, he's made it difficult. So we've got a car off ahead. I think that is Lewis again.
Yeah, looks like Lewis struggling right now with his car.
Yeah, Nico's going to send that up the inside and job done. So yeah, Nalaluka over start finish. Joe Holmes just coming out from under the bridge. It will be close, but I think Nalaluka has this by a touch at the moment. In fact, the gap is going up. It's now over 20 seconds. And I don't think it takes 20 seconds to go through pit lane for us. I think Nalaluka is doing all right here. Goes back through.
So now, would you pit early, Joe or Pete?
Yes.
If you're Nally,
I would
you want to get your pit stop over now.
With that much clean air at this stage of the race, I've got track position. I'm going to stay out until I know that the gap is coming back down. Realistically, if he stays out front while they're battling, and he can see it on his minimap, there's ways and means to check whether other cars are in battles. If you've got the confidence in your pace, you've got clean air, nobody to distract you, why would you pit in this situation? Unless you think that the cars are catching you, that's the only reason you would pit. Because you want to try and defend them on the track. You can't defend them if you're in the pit lane.
No, and that's why I'm thinking you want to get back out on the track.
Yeah, but you don't want to risk coming out in traffic that slows you down. This is the thing. It's not an easy decision. Right now, Nally should stay out. Lewis is having a great time. Look at this. He's got Grzanka and Ayub. And Lewis is going to go to the... What's he going to do? Is he going to go to the inside? He had to back out of that one. Sort of been boxed in.
He's boxed out of everything.
Yeah, Ayub's not letting him through. Grzanka is stopping him from moving over. So Lewis absolutely boxed out. Oh, but that's front to rear contact with Grzanka. Or with Ayub, rather. My apologies. Ayub in the black. And an exchange of horns is currently going on. But as it currently stands for us, we've got Nalaluka, Rid, Real Wow Star, and Bryant, the 4 winners' cars still at the front. None of them look like they want to pit anytime soon. But then it's Joe, Sufor, TJ, your top 7, with Twin Cam in P8 at the moment. Well, they at least seem to have settled down now.
Right, nobody in each other's draft right now.
Yeah, we got our fair share of chaos at the start of this race. But it's definitely settled down at this stage for now. And we just wait to see when Nalaluka
what those
will
winners'
pit.
cars do.
Exactly. Let's get a check of the lap times from Joe versus Nalaluka. Last time around, Yeah, Joe Holmes was not faster than Nalaluka. So that should give you some indication. But Nalaluka is happy out at the front. Let's see if he comes into the pit lane. I'd be interested to see if he commits to another lap. He is committing to another lap. As we continue to follow this battle
doing
for
everything
P5.
he can to get to Joe's bumper.
Yeah, I really hope he's looking forward and not behind, because if he looks behind, he's going to get distracted by TJ. He needs to focus all his attention on that white car ahead. Neither of them are in the slipstream of one another. TJ is dropping back, if anything, at this stage. Best server lap, and he still hasn't been able to take over Joe or Sufor. It's absolutely crazy. The caliber that these guys are running at is amazing. As Lewis goes through the pit lane and resumes on his way. Nalaluka is coming out of the final corner, and Joe, Sufor, and TJ are only just going through the second chicane. So I think Nalaluka's got a pretty good handle on this race so far, as he commits to another lap. 3 to go for our race leader now.
Yep, can any of these three drivers here close the gap on either one of them? One draft. If TJ gets Sufor's draft, he gets to hop into maybe Joe's draft.
Well, now we're starting to see winners' cars in the pit lane, and both of them have been swallowed up by Joe, Sufor, and TJ. Real Wowstar and Brian are dropping down like stones down the order. Real Wowstar will rejoin in 8th or 9th place as Ayub gets through there. Grzanka in the purple behind will not be pleased to see more winners' cars in this race. Nalaluka at the final corner, having just seen 2 of his teammates pit, will be thinking, well, they've just come out quite a long way down the order. And Nalaluka, to be fair to him, is having a hard time with his tyres at the moment, Franz. He's really putting some heat through the tyres, and he's going in. He's pitting.
Going to come in, yeah.
Buckle up, ladies and gents. Let's see if that is enough. Oh, he needs to slow the car down. Oh, just about got it slowed down. Almost missed his pit box. Oh, that was close. Any further and LFS would not have picked up that stop, as Joe, Sufor, and TJ are up to full speed. Nalaluka is crossing the pit exit line now and can put the pedal down, but Joe's only just over start finish. This is going to be close. This is going to be a race to the finish, but Nalaluka will have the lead. What can they do in 2 laps? Not a lot. The gap is just too big. There's no way. Nalaluka will have to throw it in a fence for Joe to win this one. Rid is still out there as well. Rid will probably be behind those 3, so best case for Rid, probably 5th place in this race. But it's going to be close with Twin Cam as Nalaluka fires his car through the chicane. He's got hot tyres though here. He needs to be careful still. He can't be complacent. He's got to drive to his limit.
Right, he's got to be careful. He's got to keep her on the pavement here.
Yeah, 1 lap to go. Look at TJ and Sufor still going for it. They're racing with each other. They don't care about Joe anymore. They just want to consolidate P3. Realistically,
I don't think TJ is quite close enough.
No, definitely not. And over start finish, we'll get an idea of what the gap is between Nalaluka and Joe with 1 lap to go. So all that fighting between Joe and TJ has cost him 2.3 seconds. And that's all the gap is. He started P15, remember? But you can't make up 2.5 seconds in a lap. Oh, Rid rejoins right in front of Nico. That's Twin Cam that he's come out with as well. So a 3-way fight for P5 in the end. So that's a nice finish. definitely closer than I expected. But here we go, Fraz. 2 corners to go for Nalaluka.
Yeah, just a solid drive by Nally. We forgot all about him midway through the race as we were focused on TJ, Joe, and Sufor. But here it is, Nally around the final turn. He's just going to power his winner's car to the line. And we're going to see it right now. Nalaluka with the win. Joe Holmes second, Sufor third, TJ in fourth. This could be a battle for fifth.
Oh, look at that. Rid crossing the line in 5th place, but Twincam and Nico side by side, and 0.05 of a second goes to Twincam in P6. Super close across the line. A great race by everybody there. But you're right, Nalaluka was very much camouflaged in amongst all those 4 winners' cars. Fraz, we just didn't see it happening.
Well, you know, we had the leaders on our screen.
We did. So there we go. Rocket will be the final car. Well, in fact, Hermione will be the final car. Here he comes through the chicane. But this will be 18 finishers from, I believe, 19 starters. Or maybe slightly more. I think actually we've got more cars starting race 2 than race 1. But Hermione wasn't lapped in this race, so gets to finish the final lap. And we'll run down the order and bring round 35 of this year's championship to a close, regrettably, because it's been quite a good one for us with the Toyota JT86.
Yeah, this mod car worked really well today.
Indeed. And in 25 minutes and 45 seconds, Nalaluka wins ahead of Joe Holmes, who couldn't quite get it done today. One of the only times we've seen him off the front row off the top step of the podium. 2-4, a great result there, displacing TJ from the podium in P3. And TJ, best of the rest today, only 3 seconds. It's ridiculous, isn't it? After that top 15 reversed.
Right,
So
right. 3 seconds between the top 4 cars.
Yeah, that's the level of competition we're dealing with here, folks. It's super high, as high as ever. Rid, P5. After that titanic battle with Twincam and Shane Van Gisberger, Nico there, out of the pit lane on the final lap. Abe, P8, Real Wildstar, P9, Grzanka, P10. Brian, after being P1, adds another 1 to his number, finishing P11, with Rayman, Magic, Omar, Neuroticat, Lewis, Rocket, and Hermione, your 18 finishers. So everybody that started this one finished. TJ got the fastest lap in the end of 1:15.42, so at least he can take that away with him. And it is, in fact, the best server lap. So that's the best lap that anybody has done in practice, qualifying, and the race all week long. So that's nice.
Yeah, that could hold for a while, because we probably won't drive this Toyota for a while.
Indeed, we'll have to wait a fair while, I imagine, before we see that again. But you won't have to wait long to see more GTI action. You can catch us in about a month's time for the 8th anniversary special. Round 37 in 3 rounds' time will be live on Sim Broadcasts once again at a combination to be decided by Magic and the rest of the Fragmasters team. But yes, of course, Fragmaster GTI action remains a staple of the LFS calendar and happens every single week. And therefore, you can join the server same time, same place next week for round 36. And we hope that you join that and enjoy yourselves. And we'll see you on the broadcast for that all special 8th anniversary. 8 years of Fragmasters GTI Thursday will be celebrated on that one for us.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I have no idea what Magic will come up with, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will be. I have every faith in him and the rest of your guys to sort this out. So yeah, we'll be back for that in a couple of short weeks. But from all of us here at Sim Broadcast, it's been an absolute pleasure once again. Thanks to the Fragmaster team for partnering with us for 2025 coverage of their series. To all the drivers, of course, for providing the action. To all of you, our viewers, and to you, Fraz, for joining me in the commentary box. Thanks again. It's been a blast.
Yeah, I hope everyone has a great week. Yeah, maybe I'll see some of you guys at Fox Friday tomorrow.
Absolutely. Fox Friday tomorrow evening by the Fragmasters team. Always a good one, so join for that. And yeah, we'll have more action on our calendar next week. Check it out at simbroadcasts.tv. From all of us here to all of you, have a great night. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.